Most men suffer in silence when it comes to women. You overthink, you replay conversations, you try to decode texts like they're hidden messages. One day she's sweet, the next she's distant. You think maybe you did something wrong. You try harder, you text more, you open up more. And still, she pulls away. You're not weak for being confused, you're uninformed. You've been taught to treat women logically, to believe what they say at face value, to follow a script that doesn't apply to emotional reality. And that's why you feel like you're walking in a fog. This video is about turning on the light. By the end, the emotional chaos, the mixed signals, the hot and cold behavior, all of it will make sense. And more importantly, you'll know what to do about it. You'll understand exactly why she pulls away after being affectionate. Why she says things she doesn't follow through on. Why you feel like you're always chasing clarity. And most importantly, you'll learn how to stop chasing. You'll learn how to lead. By supporting this channel, you help bring this clarity to thousands of men who are quietly struggling. Every view, comment, and share spreads knowledge that changes lives. Support what supports you, and help us keep building powerful, grounded, masculine content that lifts all of us. Number 1. The real reason you're confused: emotional versus logical reality. You're confused because you've been using the wrong map. You're trying to navigate emotion using logic. You're applying masculine thinking to a feminine experience and wondering why it doesn't work. That's like trying to control the ocean by yelling at the waves. Masculine thinking is linear. It's outcome-focused. It looks for consistency, order, and structure. When a man says something, he usually means it long-term. He makes a plan, and he sticks to it. If he says, "I want to be with you," he's thinking in days, months, maybe years. He's making a commitment. Feminine energy, by design, is not built this way. It is not broken. It's just different. Feminine emotion moves like water. It shifts, it flows, it responds to the present moment. When a woman says, "I love you," she means it fully, in that moment. But that doesn't mean she'll feel the same tomorrow. Her love isn't a lie, it's real. But it's based on emotion, not logic. It's rooted in the now, not the next. This is where men go wrong. You hear, "I love you," and assume it's a promise. You hear, "I don't want to lose you," and think it's a contract. But she's not speaking from logic. She's expressing what she feels right now. If you don't understand that difference, you'll feel betrayed when her actions change. You'll assume she was lying. You'll think you did something wrong. But you didn't. She just moved emotionally. That's how the feminine operates. When you stop expecting logic from emotion, you stop being hurt by it. You start observing her, not reacting, not personalizing every shift. You realize that her changes aren't attacks. They're simply reflections of her emotional state. And your job isn't to match her swings, it's to remain steady. You are the calm in the chaos, not the chaos itself. This shift in understanding will save you years of confusion, heartbreak, and anxiety. Because once you see women clearly, not through the lens of your expectations, but through the reality of emotional nature, you gain control, not over her, but over yourself. And that's where your power begins. Number 2. Women's words versus women's actions. What to actually trust. Most of your confusion doesn't come from what she does. It comes from what she says not lining up with what she does. You hear her say, "I miss you," but she doesn't make time to see you. You hear, "You mean so much to me," but you're always the one initiating conversations. You hear, "I'm just not ready for something serious," but then she jumps into a relationship with someone else weeks later. You're not crazy for being confused by that, but you are mistaken if you think her words are the truth. Words are not the truth. Behavior is. You were raised in a world that taught you to take women at their word. That's a mistake, because feminine emotion speaks in waves, but actions never lie. A woman can say she loves you, but if she's not prioritizing you, supporting you, building with you, that love may only exist in her imagination. She can say she's just busy, but if she's always posting on social media, replying to others, and consistently unavailable for you, you're not a priority. And that's your answer. Stop waiting for her to explain herself. Stop asking for closure in conversations that only leave you more confused. You don't need more words. You need more observation. Watch what she actually does. Does she invest in you? Does she show up when you need her? Does she bring peace or drama into your world? Does her energy add to your focus or drain it? If her behavior doesn't match her words, always trust the behavior. If she says you matter but treats you like a backup plan, you are a backup plan. If she says she's confused but keeps you in limbo while entertaining others, she's not confused. She's keeping her options open. This is where men lose time and self-respect. They wait for words to match their needs. They chase clarity. They replay what she said. She told me I was different. She said I was the one. She promised me we had a future. Those words mean nothing if her actions contradict them. Stop treating language like law. In the emotional world, words are often just reflections of temporary feelings. That doesn't mean she's evil. That doesn't mean she's playing you. But if she's operating emotionally and you're operating logically, you'll always be one step behind. Until you flip the script. Until you stop waiting for her to say the right thing and start asking, what is she actually showing me? If a woman is into you, she will make it obvious. She will give. She will pursue. She will follow up. If she isn't doing those things, she's either unsure, unavailable, or uninterested. And no amount of words can fix that. Stop debating. Start deciding. Her actions are already giving you the answer. And once you make this mental switch, your entire reality changes. You won't chase texts. You won't beg for explanations. You won't overthink when she goes quiet. You'll simply watch, measure, decide, and move accordingly. Because men who lead their lives don't ask for permission to see the truth. They look at it head-on. Number 3, why she pulls away after getting close. Emotional fluidity. Explained. One of the most painful experiences for any man is when a woman starts to pull away right after everything felt right. Things were flowing. The connection was deep. She was affectionate, open, engaged. You felt seen. You felt chosen. Maybe you even started to let your guard down. And then, without warning, it shifts. She goes colder. Her replies slow down. Her energy changes. You start questioning what you did wrong. You replay conversations. You try to fix it. You start chasing her attention not because you're weak, but because you're confused. This is where most men spiral. You start believing you messed up. You become more emotionally available. You try harder. You lean in. And ironically, the more you do, the more she pulls away. Not because you're unworthy, but because you're misunderstanding the emotional cycle she's in. Women pull away, not always because something is wrong, but because they are emotionally fluid. Just like the ocean doesn't stay still, neither does her emotional state. You need to understand this truth clearly. The closer a woman gets to emotional vulnerability, the more exposed she feels. And for many women, that emotional exposure triggers fear. Fear of losing herself. Fear of getting hurt. Fear of giving too much. And so, after deep connection, she retreats. Not because the connection was fake, but because it was real. You can't treat this retreat like a rejection. It's not about you failing. It's about her processing. If you panic in this space, if you text more, ask for reassurance, try to pull her back, you only increase her sense of emotional overwhelm. She doesn't pull away to punish you. She pulls away to breathe. But here's the key difference between a boy and a man. The boy takes her shift personally and reacts. The man recognizes the emotional rhythm and holds his center. The man does not chase. He does not beg. He does not question his worth because someone else is confused. He allows space while remaining emotionally grounded. He understands that her step back is not an emergency. It's a natural phase of connection. It's a reset. Many women test men here without even knowing it. Not intentionally, but emotionally. They observe your reaction when they withdraw. If you collapse, overextend, or turn emotionally fragile, you lose polarity. You lose leadership. If you stay steady, focused, calm, and unshaken, you become more attractive. Not because you played a game, but because your energy became safe, solid, reliable. This is what feminine energy needs to trust: your steadiness in her uncertainty, your calm in her chaos, not because you're cold, but because you're complete. She wants to know that your emotions aren't tied to hers, that your peace isn't built on her mood, that your sense of direction isn't dictated by her attention. So what do you do when she pulls away after closeness? You do less. You protect your energy. You keep moving in your purpose. You allow space. And when she reaches out again, which she will if the connection is real, you welcome her without punishment. You don't guilt her. You don't demand explanation. You don't use it to prove a point. You simply show that your peace was never dependent on her presence. That is what makes a man unforgettable. That is what turns emotional confusion into emotional safety. When a woman feels that your energy doesn't need her but still chooses her, that's when she relaxes. That's when she stops testing. That's when she comes closer with trust, not hesitation. You can't control her waves, but you can anchor them, and when you do, you stop asking why she pulled away, because you'll know it's not about rejection, it's about rhythm, and you're finally strong enough to hold the beat. Number 4. Tests, mood swings, and mixed signals. Unconscious female testing. If there's one thing that throws men off more than anything else, it's the emotional roller coaster women seem to bring into a relationship. One moment she's smiling, affectionate, all in. The next, she's distant, irritable, and closed off. You feel like you're being emotionally whiplashed. And the worst part? You don't know why. There wasn't an argument, there wasn't a shift in you. But suddenly, she's not the same. This pattern is what men call mixed signals. You think she's playing games. You wonder if she's seeing someone else. You question her character. But what's really happening is deeper and far less malicious than most men realize. What you're experiencing is unconscious testing. And once you understand it, you'll stop reacting, and you'll start leading. Unconscious testing is when a woman puts you through small emotional storms, not out of manipulation, but out of instinct. It's her way of checking your strength without even realizing she's doing it. Think of it like this. A tree can look strong in the sunlight, but only when the storm comes do you see if its roots are deep. A woman's emotional tests are the storm, and what she's unconsciously checking for is your emotional roots. Are you grounded or are you fragile? These tests aren't deliberate. She's not plotting them. They show up as mood swings, as emotional distance, as little jabs to see how you react. She's observing. Can you handle her at her worst, or do you collapse the moment things get unpredictable? If you become defensive, needy, angry, or start arguing back when she shifts, you fail the test. You lose polarity. You show her that your peace is dependent on her behavior. And that's not attractive. That creates pressure. It makes her feel emotionally responsible for your sense of worth. And that's not what she wants. What she craves, deep down, is a man whose center cannot be shaken. A man who sees her emotional storm and remains the sun. A man who doesn't flinch when she withdraws or lashes out because he knows it's not personal. It's not about being cold. It's about being centered. This doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. It means you lead with calm correction. You don't match her chaos. You manage it. When she pulls away, you don't chase. When she's moody, you don't explain yourself to win her back. When she tries to provoke a reaction, you don't give her the satisfaction of losing your frame. Instead, you respond with strength, with calm boundaries, with steady masculinity, and most importantly, you reward her return with presence, not punishment. When the storm passes and she comes back to you, you don't guilt her for the storm. You don't make her prove her affection. You show that your peace was never lost, that she didn't shake your foundation. This is how women fall in love. Not through what you give, but through how you lead. She watches how you handle her tests, even if she doesn't know she's giving them. And every time you pass, every time you stay calm when most men would panic, she relaxes more. She trusts more. She attaches more. So the next time you're hit with mood swings, with cold behavior, with emotional ups and downs, don't get angry, don't beg, don't try to solve it like a puzzle. Smile inside, because now you know what's really happening. You're being tested. And if you stay grounded, if you stay calm, if you lead with steady, masculine energy, you win every time. Number 5. What makes her feel safe to commit? Energy, frame, and leadership. Many men think women commit when they hear the right words. They believe it's the promises, the compliments, the "I love yous" that convince her to stay. They try to talk their way into her heart. But that's not how it works. Words might open the door, but they don't keep it open. What keeps a woman connected and committed long-term isn't language, it's energy. It's the way you make her feel about herself in your presence. It's your emotional leadership, your ability to guide the relationship without forcing it, and your ability to remain strong without becoming controlling. If a woman doesn't feel emotionally safe with you, she will never fully commit. And by emotionally safe, we don't mean soft, agreeable, or passive. We mean steady, reliable, consistent in your masculine energy. A man with a solid frame, who doesn't break every time she tests, who doesn't collapse when she's emotional, who doesn't try to fix her feelings just to avoid discomfort, is a man who becomes her anchor. Let's break that down. Frame is your emotional posture. It's the energetic foundation you bring into every interaction. It's the tone you set, the confidence you carry, and the inner peace you hold regardless of what's happening around you. When your frame is strong, she feels like she can trust you, not just because you say the right things, but because she feels safe in your energy. That safety comes from knowing you won't overreact, won't emotionally collapse, won't seek her to complete you. This is what leadership looks like in a relationship. It's not dominance, it's not control, it's emotional steadiness. It's your ability to take emotional responsibility for yourself first and for the container you're building with her. It's your ability to make decisions, to protect her peace, and to stay composed when things get chaotic. Now, leadership doesn't mean you do everything or make every choice. It means you hold the vision, You set the emotional tone. If a woman senses that your energy is reactive, she becomes anxious. If she feels that your identity shifts depending on her mood, she starts to pull back. Why? Because you're making her the leader. And no matter how independent she is, no woman wants to lead a relationship emotionally. She wants to lean into a man's strength. She wants to relax into your structure. But here's where many men go wrong. They think being a leader means being hard, stoic in the wrong way, emotionally distant. That's not strength. That's fear dressed up as masculinity. True masculine leadership means knowing when to be soft without being weak. It means having boundaries without being defensive. It means loving without losing yourself. To build that kind of energy, you have to first lead yourself. You have to be committed to your vision, grounded in your purpose, and aware of your values. You can't look to her to give you direction. You can't make her your motivation. Your life has to be centered around your mission, not her. She joins your world, not becomes it. And from that place, you lead. When she feels this, something shifts inside her. She stops testing. She stops doubting. She starts relaxing. She starts giving. Because now your energy feels like a home she wants to live in, not a project she has to rebuild. She starts showing up more, wanting more, giving more. Not because you convinced her, but because your presence activated something she's been looking for but rarely finds. So if you want her to commit, not temporarily but deeply, you don't convince her with speeches or declarations. You become a man whose energy speaks louder than words. A man who holds space, sets standards, and makes her feel safe to open up, to trust, to choose you again and again. That's what makes a woman stay. That's what makes her emotionally loyal. Not because she has to, but because in your presence, she finally gets to relax into who she really is. Number 6, detachment, power, and peace, becoming the man she can't shake. The final transformation happens when you master detachment. Not the cold, avoidant kind that pushes people away, but the strong, calm, grounded kind that keeps you centered no matter what a woman does. If there's one trait that sets powerful men apart from the rest, it's this: emotional detachment from outcome. They do not hinge their peace on whether a woman stays or leaves. They are committed to their vision, not addicted to her presence. Why is this important? Because women feel everything. They feel when you're obsessed. They feel when you're clinging. They feel when your entire sense of validation depends on their affection. And nothing kills attraction faster than neediness. Women don't fall in love with men who need them. They fall in love with men who inspire them. Men who give off an energy of peace, direction, and self-respect so powerful that even when she tries to pull away, her soul wants to come back. Detachment is not about being distant. It's about being unshakable. It means you don't beg for attention. You don't overreact to emotional shifts. You don't lose yourself in the relationship. You stay rooted in your identity. When she's upset, you stay calm. When she's cold, you stay composed. When she tries to test your frame, you respond with confidence, not insecurity. And when she pulls back for a day, a week, or even longer, you don't collapse. You let her move. Why? Because your value isn't up for negotiation. Because your emotions are not tied to her choices. Because your peace doesn't belong to her, it belongs to you. And in that energy, something powerful happens. You become the anchor. You become the man she can't shake. Not because you manipulated her, but because you stopped needing her approval. Most men will never get here. They're too reactive, too desperate to be chosen, too afraid of walking away. But once you understand that no woman, not even the most amazing, most beautiful, most emotionally available woman, can give you your sense of worth, you become dangerous in the best way. You stop chasing, you stop explaining, you stop compromising your values for affection, and you start leading from peace, from power, from presence. This is where you become magnetic. Because now you're not pursuing her from fear, you're attracting her through clarity. You're not obsessed with being liked, you're committed to being respected. You're not afraid of her leaving, because your life is already full, with or without her. And that's what women want more than anything. Not a man who depends on them for purpose, but a man who already has one. So if you want to become the man she can't shake, stop chasing love. Start mastering yourself. Build your vision. Enforce your standards. Guard your peace. And show up every day as a man who doesn't need love to feel worthy, but who still gives it with strength, with certainty, and without fear. That's the man she dreams of. That's the man she respects. That's the man she can't forget, even if she tries. You're no longer in the dark. The fog that surrounded your understanding of women has lifted. You now see what most men never do, that the path to peace with women is not found in control, reaction, or pleasing. It's found in clarity, presence, and emotional leadership. Every chapter you've absorbed wasn't just about her. It was about you, about the kind of man you're choosing to become, the kind who no longer begs for closure, the kind who no longer reacts to every mood swing, the kind who leads with quiet power instead of loud desperation. You've learned that women are not logical in the way you've been taught to expect. They are emotional, fluid, changing. And you've learned that this isn't something to fix. It's something to understand. You've seen how her pullbacks are not personal, how her tests are not games, how her words are only half the story. You've seen that what matters most is your steadiness, your frame, your energy. And now you know what to do. Watch behavior, not words. Lead with calm, not control. Hold your boundaries without guilt. Build your vision without apology. Detach from outcome, but stay rooted in purpose. Show up with strength, softness, and self-respect. And you will never be confused by women again. Because the man who understands women is not the man who chases them. He's the man who leads himself. You've just completed a masterclass in emotional clarity, a path that takes most men years, even decades, to figure out. But knowledge alone isn't power. Action is. So take what you've learned and live it, not just today. Every day. Build the habits, guard your peace, walk with certainty, and don't look back. If you made it this far, I want to know who you are. Drop a single word in the comments. Unstoppable. That tells me you're not like most, that you're not just watching passively. You're learning, growing, choosing to be a man with clarity and purpose. And if this message hit something deep inside you, if it felt like it gave you a voice to what you've been struggling to understand, support the mission. Support this channel. Every time you like, share, and comment, you're helping this content reach another man who's stuck in confusion, stuck in silence, stuck thinking he's the problem. You're not just helping yourself, you're helping every man who needs to hear this truth. So subscribe, share this video with your brothers, re-watch it when the confusion creeps back. Because clarity is not something you get once, it's something you build day by day with every choice you make. This is just the beginning. Welcome to the path of peace, power, and masculine truth. Stay grounded, stay focused, and always remember, you are unstoppable.